As the Victorian State Government are pressured to accommodate for rapid population growth in the City of Melbourne, the simple and rational solution is through residential property redevelopment. It is a fact that there is adequate land and pre-existing buildings surrounding the Melbourne Central Business District that can be replaced and redeveloped for residential accommodation. However, the Melbourne Cricket Ground should not be one of them. The National Heritage listed property is located in Yarra Park, Richmond, which covers approximately 35 hectares and is an integral part and heartbeat of the Melbourne Sport and Entertainment Precinct. The MCG underpins not only Melbourne's, but Australia's vibrant, active and entertaining social framework through elucidating the core values of Melbourne sport lovers as it has done since 1853 and should continue to do so. The historical significance of the MCG places Melbourne on the world scale, which exemplifies the social values of the Melbourne community. It is more than just a sports venue, it is a place where dreams become a reality and memories are made.
As the MCG is an elite sporting facility, one of its key attributes is to withhold large volumes of patrons at any given time. Whether we like it or not, sport plays an integral part in our culture of Melbourne. The MCG is valued as a metaphoric support beam for Australia's international sport, which partly holds up to the sporting community values that span across the state. It ties together a vast network of fan bases from all over the state of Victoria, even Australia. The unidentified importance of the MCG is the capability, along with other sporting stadiums, to create a sense of community in urban areas of Melbourne. It creates a home where supporters, regardless of socio-economic status, come out to show their true colours and supporting their idols. This establishes a sense of togetherness throughout the community. One of the main contributing social aspects of the MCG is that it's an ideal stadium to host large events. These events are one of the most common sources of entertainment for Melburnians over the century. When a large event is held at places like the MCG, many spectators and local residents tend to feel a sense of enthusiasm. This enthusiasm towards the event held at the MCG is supported through the Sydney 2000 Olympics, in which the public seemed to ascertain that the expenditure on the event was well justified due to their high rise in enthusiasm for the international event. These same levels of enthusiasm were displayed during the 1956 Olympics Games and the 2006 Commonwealth Games, in which the MCG hosted some of the largest events of the two competitions. The purpose of this idea is to help express how Victorians over the past 160 years have used the MCG as a resource to connect with their community and help contribute to their own culture. As Victoria is a very sporting focused state, children are exposed to the love and use of sport from a very young age, as a resource to relax and enjoy when not at school or at work later in life. The use of the MCG contributes far more considerably to the community as a historical and cultural way in comparison to an economic based standpoint. Even though the site took in a revenue of just over $5.2 million in 2015.
The MCG is part of Melbourne's iconic sporting status and has been the playing field for some of the most significant sporting achievements and events in Australia. These events can often be linked to the MCG's intangible heritage. This means that the memories and events that have taken place at the stadium are embedded in ongoing social relationships within our communities. Everyone that's been to one of these historic events will remember them like it was yesterday, whether it be Shane Warne's 700th Test wicket,
Number 700, and they can't catch it.
or Leo Barry's game-saving mark.
Throws it onto the left. One last roll of the dice for the Eagles. Leo Barry.
Or even Betty Cuthbert's 3 gold medals in the 1956 Olympic Games. Or even witnessing one of Sir Donald Bradman's many great centuries at this stadium. Not only has the MCG been host to countless sporting memories over the decades, it's been host for such things as Pope John Paul II's Mass held in 1986, or how it housed the US Army Forces in World War II. These historic events have been a common bond for many Australians throughout the years and are celebrated by many. Smith and Napigoa define the cultural spaces as places where cultural activities occur, having the characteristic of shifting over time and whose existence depends on the presence of these forms of cultural expression. The MCG can be viewed as a direct example of this definition of a cultural space, as throughout its rich 162-year history it has been able to adapt and stand the test of time. We as a society should not forget the strength in the tradition of sport and how they play a role in forming our cultural identity as a country. These traditions have been handed down through the generations and should continue to do so in the future.
Public open space is a critical social need in our society and promotes general well-being, physical activity, tourism and vibrant aesthetics. There are traits and requirements that are imperative in our inner city area where the built environment has taken over large spaces. The MCG and Yarra Parks provide 35 hectares of open space that is suitable for multiple activities for neighbouring residents as well as tourists from all over the world. Public open space is an essential requirement in the process and practice of suburban development. The most important drive behind public open space is the health of society. Therefore, developers should prioritise the social framework to improve the livability of property in suburban areas. Thus, redeveloping the MCG drastically interfere with the relationship Melburnians have with this area of Melbourne's sporting district. The removal would cause upset to hundreds of thousands of people who deem the MCG to be an integral part of their physical and mental health. This is through removing an area for physical activity as well as removing the joy and bliss people, but more specifically fans, feel as they are engaging in the output the MCG so frequently offers in sport.
Go.
In a society that is continuously becoming more urbanised at an alarming rate, it needs to remain a crucial focal point to maintain green open spaces in order to retain natural aspects of life in what is becoming a somewhat unnatural environment. By keeping access to the green open spaces, it is linked with a better perceived general health, in such ways as a decrease in stress and a decrease in depression. Physical inactivity is quickly becoming a major health risk in our society today, with an estimated 50% of adults not meeting the 30-minute per day physical activity guideline, which supports the argument to keep green open spaces in the urban environment to help promote happy and healthy lifestyles.
It is important to consider the impact that heritage buildings have on tourism industry. Sue Miller, 1989, contends heritage attractions represent irreplaceable resources for the tourism industry. It is too important that these heritage buildings need to accommodate for the needs of tourists whilst having unique attributes that make it the tourist attraction. The MCG is a prime example of a heritage tourism attraction due to its rich history and unique designs. The state government understands how critical tourism is to the city of Melbourne, as they aim to remain the leader in sporting and cultural sector. The MCG is one of the most prestigious and highly visited tourist spots in Melbourne. This includes international tourists as well as interstate tourists. The MCG had between 2.5 million to 3.5 million spectators at AFL matches alone each year between the years of 2010 to 2014. These numbers underpin just how vital the MCG is to our tourist market as well as the Victorian economy.
It's important for society to understand the importance of international icons such as the MCG and the role that they play in generating this form of income. Tourism alone accounted for 5.9% of the gross state income for this particular financial year. The location of the stadium plays a key role in how many people attend the venue every year. It has a strong supply of arterial public transport lines which assist with large events and promoting public transport use. The accessibility of the stadium to outer suburbs means that the MCG is able to attract large crowds. The redevelopment of the MCG for residential housing would diminish such high tourism numbers and economic growth through the tourism sector. Although neighbouring sports complexes would invite tourism numbers, stadiums such as Amy Park, Rod Laver Arena and Hisense Arena carry nowhere near the same historical significance that caters for such a predominant social need in Melbourne of entertainment through sport.
Melbourne is widely regarded as one of the sporting capitals of the world due to its people sharing an emphatic love for a vast array of sports. As a sporting community, facilities such as the MCG have been implemented into our environment as a way to settle our need for entertainment as well as a way to connect with our culture and social environment. As explained by Rowe in 2016, Australians use sport in places such as the MCG for three main reasons: three main reasons include to develop personal skills, remind us of social and cultural history, and to engage in our highly diverse environment. He continues on to explain that we use sporting facilities to connect with those around us on many different levels and use it as a form of refuge for more unpleasant aspects of life. Attending sporting events at facilities like the MCG has and will continue to be one of the number one places where young Australians are given the chance to converse and interact with people from many different cultural, religious and socio-economic backgrounds. The MCG doesn't only provide people of the general public with a place to watch and attend professional sporting and entertainment events, but also a place that encourages people from all walks of life to participate in their own exercise and physical activity with friends and family. By losing the MCG to redevelopment, physical activity and exercise levels could decrease due to one of Melbourne's most convenient and suitable resources being taken away. The MCG in Yarra Parklands is in such a prime location for sporting and recreation area for the general public due to its easy access by car, train, tram and bus. The MCG was officially recognised for its importance in Australians' lifestyles when it was placed on the National Heritage List in December 2005. In recent years, Melbourne has been labelled as one of the world's most livable cities, as well as frequently being called the sporting capital of the world. It is with accolades such as these that makes it easy to see that by redeveloping the MCG, it will without a doubt severely impact on the way we participate and grow in the social environment.
If Melbourne desires to remain the world's most livable city, this property must be valued and continually seeking to grow with the changing social framework of society today. This in contrast to removing the MCG for residential housing, which may be a temporary solution to our population growth, does not entertain the notion of being more important than sustaining Victoria's most historically and culturally significant landmark, the MCG. The MCG influences how we see ourselves as Victorians and how we see ourselves as active sports fans who appreciate the significance the MCG has in our lives. Greg Baum stated that the MCG is a shrine. It is to this city what the Opera House is to Sydney, the Eiffel Tower is to Paris, and the Statue of Liberty is to New York.